I will now give you instructions in regards to the actual ritual. There are many factors involved, but you can do this. First of all, you have to have a prepared ritual area. This can either be, a room, like a spare bedroom, or it just may be a reasonable spaced area, because not everyone has a spare room in which to conduct rituals. So bear that in mind. You have to have, let's say, a reasonable amount of space in which to conduct a ritual. So, I would say, let's say 3 meters by 3 meters, at the least. Be preferable if you could get more, but let's use that as an example. Now the ritual area has to be prepared. That is, it has to be clean. I mean, clean as you can possibly get it. You have to realize that substance is more important than style. Now, we've got to have an altar of sorts, and this has to be facing due east. We're assuming we're going to be doing this ritual in the world of Bria, in the Sephra of Hokmah. So we have to have 2 candles, grey, 2 grey candles, and the incense, so which is musk. So we've got to have, like, it could be a table, could be just a piece of furniture. It should be wooden or granite or something that is natural, not a plastic thing. Plastic is the last resort in regards to these sorts of things. The colour of Hokmah is grey. If you're going to use like a tablecloth or something, natural fibres and grey. If you don't have this, use a towel. But as long as it's natural, like you've got a wooden table, it's clean, that's fine. Like I said, plastic is the absolute last resort. So you've got a dedicated space. What you need to do from due east is ring the room or the space as much as possible with salt. Now, you don't have to avalanche it or anything, just sprinkle. That's it. This is a symbolic measure, and it more or less lines the dedicated space. And it is a pass knot ring, so it tells the genie or the jinn you don't interfere, which is most unlikely anyway, because you will be doing this in the world of Bria. So this should not really be a problem, but it's just best to have these things. There are things you have to learn before you can do the ritual. You have to learn the Kabbalistic cross, which is, like the way the Catholics do it, forehead, abdomen, then the right shoulder, then the left shoulder, and then cross your arms over, right over left, and you go Amen. That's a Kabbalistic cross. You also need to learn the sign of the Zealoter, which is you're bent down like you're proposing or something, your right knee is bent, your left leg is stretched beside you, and you do like a Hitler salute sort of thing. Look, I will explain all these things. I'm going to do a piece on my blog which will give you an instructional way, to do this ritual, because I won't be able to explain it in a reasonable amount of time, all the factors involved. So, before you conduct your ritual, see, when you are going into Hokmah, you'll be dealing with the God aspect of Jah. So yes, God, there is one God, and Jah is a part of God. It is just an aspect that we can relate to. Because trying to comprehend God in one go, that's impossible. And you also got the Archangel Ratziel. So, looking at your zodiac hours, so remember we're going by planetary hours, not mechanical ones, you should pray before the hour in which you are going to conduct your ritual. And remember, planetary hours are not mechanical hours, and you will have to come up with the actual beginning and end of the hour according to the hours of daylight or nighttime when you are going to do this ritual. So total daylight hours from sunrise to sunset divided by 12, and that's where you get your hours, and there's an order of hours. And again, I will put this on my blog, because I am assuming that you have no knowledge whatsoever. Now, when it comes to, having a dedicated space, getting grey candles, musk incense, you might be in a position where you cannot get any of these things. If that is the case, I would recommend that, assuming you can get white candles or something of a similar nature, you will have to pray to God, asking Him for this opportunity. A ritual in Hokmah just makes it that more of a priority, if that's a proper term. So, if you're going to do this, you either do it properly or don't do it at all. Now, as to the actual what's in the ritual, you've got to have the request that you intend to ask, because you want to ask a deceased person about something which they are the only humans who had knowledge of this. You might be dealing with an unresolved issue, something you need a final answer to. It could be anything, I don't know, lost piece of jewelry, something like that. So, you can go through this method of necromancy, or you can ask God direct. But it's between you and God initially, before you can get the answer from the person. So, I will explain, trying to do this in a clip is, basically impossible. in a reasonable amount of time. So I will put my blog URL at the end of this clip, and you can take it from there. But I will continue on with this series because I believe there are some things which really have to be talked about. Also, one thing I wanted to mention is that when you conduct a ritual, let's say, you've got your soul and there is something else to do before you conduct a ritual, and that is to banish the jinn from interfering. But that doesn't mean they cannot observe. Now, as I said, the jinn, they can haunt anyone. They can just be like an invisible man living in your house, and they can observe. So when, let's say, the person you are trying to contact, let's say, was a loudmouth, for argument's sake, they may have revealed so much information that it's going to be hard to verify who that person is. That's why, I recommend prayer as your world of communication. So you should have let's say a secret question which only the person that you're communicating to, if God allows it, can answer. So, because there are jinn who will try and impersonate the dead, and I suspect that they are in a lot of cases. So, yeah. So I'll put it down on my blog and do like a practice ritual for you to read and decide from there. Because, I believe necromancy is coming back. Now, assuming that you're doing this with someone that you love, or someone you were in good association with, this really should not be a problem. But as I said, you can only ask a basic question. Now, how it works with the worlds is that the worlds operate on different frequencies. I'm only doing this, explaining it in an ad hoc science type situation. So, like I said, you're not asleep, you're not awake. Most likely, if the person is allowed to communicate with you, or if a message is to be passed on, it will occur. Let's say you're in bed asleep, and that's when it will happen. Or you're lying back on a lounge, not asleep, not awake, somewhere in between. Because you can't just ask for this. Let's say you're driving a car, then you flip off into another world. What do you think's going to happen? And I'll explain it on the blog. Anyway, until then.